Number 6.
As we gather together, let us honor our diversity of beliefs, values, faith traditions, our unity in gratitude on this day. We are grateful for the support and the love of our families. We are grateful for the lifelong friendships we have formed. We are grateful for the faculty and staff who have challenged us and inspired us to learn, to love, and to serve. Gratitude unlocks a fullness in life. It shapes our perspective from what we have into an abundance of beauty that surrounds us. Gratitude shapes a balance of love and acceptance without judgment, simply of peace and of appreciation. Today is a graduation, a passage, a commencement. It is a beginning and an ending, as are the many chapters of our lives. As we gather here as one community, let us be present and thankful for our time together on this day. As our graduates go forth with their knowledge, their hopes, and their dreams, let them continue to learn from the world, appreciate diversity, fill their hearts with compassion, and for them to lead lives of intention. It is through their purposeful commitment that their influence will help shape and strengthen our communities around the world. May grace and gratitude be ours in abundance on this day as we celebrate the lives and the accomplishment of the class of 2018. You may be seated.
Good morning, everyone. It is great to have you here, and it is not going to rain. Chair of the board, Mr. McElhaney, fellow trustees, faculty, staff, alumni, parents, friends, and the class of 2018, I'd like to welcome you to the 173rd commencement exercises of Tilton School. The history behind this occasion and the number of students and families that have been part of our community since 1845 is tremendous. It is an honor to be part of this tradition, to be part of the Tilton family, and I hope all of you sense the uniqueness of this moment. This commencement is about the soon-to-be alumni, but we would be remiss in not recognizing all of the people who made today possible. First, Mr. Heath and Ms. Cody, supported by their respective colleagues, have gone to extraordinary efforts to make this campus ready for you. They deserve our recognition. I also want to thank my colleagues who have committed themselves to their life's work in working with teenagers. No matter the specific job, all of us have worked so hard to make today possible. Your efforts have shaped this school and these seniors. Your support, respect, and challenge have helped propel this class to greater heights, and they are prepared for the challenges ahead. I know the students, their families, and all their guests gathered here today appreciate your efforts and recognize your commitment. Thank you, faculty and staff. At this time, I'd like to ask two of my colleagues, Elaine and Tom DeRigo, to please stand. Today, I have the honor of recognizing two people who have impacted countless students during their careers. Together, they have dedicated their lives to the betterment of our world through their love, their caring, and their belief in teenagers. Tilton School is the place where they have spent a collective 39 years of their career, sharing themselves and their family in so many different ways. Together, they have taught classes in the math department, the social science department, and the English department. They have redesigned and led the Plus 5 program. They have coached boys and girls basketball and golf. They have led the school's 9th, 10th, and 11th grade programs. In these various capacities, they have shaped the lives of countless teenagers and reminded all of us of the value of hard work and a good laugh. Together, Tom and Elaine have influenced the direction of this school, and all of us are grateful for their counsel and their wisdom, especially at a time when we are striking boldly into the future of education. All of us will miss them as they move to New York City in these next weeks. In many ways, they are doing what we ask of our students, to follow our dreams. There is no better way to inspire action than leading by example. Tom and Elaine, we are so grateful for what you have done for Tilton School and the part that you have played. We salute you and honor all that you have done. Thank you. To the class of 2018, you need to know that I'm proud of each and every one of you. We have had a tremendous year in every respect. Our success, the success of this school, has rested squarely on your shoulders. You have inspired all of us and played key roles on our teams, our plays, our art studios, and of course, right over there with the competitive games of can jam, cornhole, and slam ball. Your spirit has made us better, and I'm truly thankful for that. You've also been an important part to our work in our academic program. We will continue to focus on our essential skills and personalization, finding unique opportunities for each student to demonstrate their learning in meaningful and quantifiable ways. This work will be significant for the Tilton experience, which will be shared by all of those who are lucky enough to follow you. I'm also hoping that you recognize and appreciate that our nation is wrestling with tremendous issues. During your senior year, you have talked about and experienced Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, the epidemic of school shootings in Parkland and Santa Fe, and one of the most caustic wrestling matches between the branches and the departments of our federal government. No matter where you stand on these issues, it is my hope that you have learned to think about these challenges and those that await you in the future. Soon you will be awarded a Tilton diploma, and it is my earnest hope that you have learned to always listen carefully rather than ignoring opposing viewpoints, to always gather information and think about what you believe in, and rather than being a bystander, take action and stand up for what you believe in a way that respects yourself and those around you. During my career as a teacher, and certainly my tenure as a head of school, I have never seen a year like this one. At times, it was overwhelming. But I also know that is exactly why we, Tilton School, exist. The mission of our school is to challenge students to embrace and navigate a world marked by diversity and change. I am supremely confident that we have equipped you to do this, and I have high hopes for you, the class of 2018. I am so thankful for your work to make this a spectacular year, and I am truly humbled to be your head of school. Thank you, seniors, for all you have done, and congratulations. Our first speaker today hails from Warren, Vermont. Isabelle Maufoy came to Tilton as a very shy and reserved 10th grader. Before too long, in her first year, Izzy exhibited her trademark characteristic that has defined her tenure as our student body president, her passion. For those of us who have had the chance to work with her, we've all seen this play out. From advocating for her schoolmates to propelling us to action on national issues, Izzy is a force to be reckoned with. I saw this first when she gave her gateway presentation. While none of us at the time might have guessed that the little 10th grader informing us about the rise in college tuition would become our student body president, that is exactly what happened. During her time at Tilton, we have experienced her passion for students, her sense of justice, and her commitment to the well-being of this great school. Next year, we will miss her as she matriculates to George Washington University. She has made this year so special with her smile and her work ethic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Isabelle McKinnon-Maufoy.
Hi, everyone. My brother Calvin and I have been very fortunate to travel as much as we've had. And most recently, our family traveled to Antigua, Guatemala. For a week, we hiked volcanoes and biked from town to town. And on one of our rides, we stopped at a macadamia nut farm, where we learned how impactful the trees were to the people in Guatemala. Inside the home of where the farmer lived hung the Desiderata, a poem written in 1927, with an inspiring reminder for us to strive for high ideals. It's a lengthy piece, but one part of it stood out. It reads, "For the world is full of trickery, but let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism." At Tilton, the high ideal we are encouraged to meet is our power of potential. This mantra, slogan, whatever you want to call it, it might sound trite at this point to those that are familiar with it. But I promise you that there is meaning to it beyond the hill, a meaning that comes from our faculty and teachers, the classes we engage in, and the relationships we form. A meaning that has the power to encompass who we should be when we leave this place. AP Literature is a course I took this year, and it's a class that you get out of it what you're willing to put into it. Our final project for this class was to present on someone who we identified to be our hero. We were then to relate the qualities of a hero to a protagonist that we identified in a piece of literature that we read that year. When most adolescents, and I count many in the audience among us, think of a hero, we probably think of Marvel comics like Wonder Woman, Batman, or King T'Challa. And yes, that'd be sick if we could live among them. Unfortunately, growing up is inevitable. But perhaps in some sense we do. For their powers of strength and speed may not be among us or saving us when we're in trouble, but what they fight for is. Gabe Kingsley and Isabelle both spoke of their fathers, and Maddie talked about her grandmother. But Sean Keegans gave a different perspective. He said that he didn't quite have one hero, but he recognized that he knew many people with heroic qualities. And once he said that, I began to look around our class of 10. Each one of these students exemplified heroic qualities, all unique to their character. Dominique Bolduc's self-love is admirable. Ibella's energy is contagious. Maddie's diligence is commendable. Lama's kindness is genuine. Gabe's honesty is worthy, and Sean's smile is true. With more thought into this matter, the deadline to my presentation began to approach. To identify one hero just seemed unfair. Who am I to recognize one person for my success, when in reality it does take a village? And as I sat down to write, names started to flow left and right with ease. I thought of Miss Goddard, Santoro, Brisson, and Teft, Mr. Landrash, Gilpatrick, McDougall, and Conrad, Mr. Barrett, Trudell, Dunbar, and Saunders, and countless others. You might ask, so what about these people? Now, Mrs. Saliba has always said that when you send your child to Tilton, you're sending them to people, not buildings, and not even a place. Yes, I think of our students when she says this, but truly, our faculty are what make this statement true. They are the ones who make Tilton School all that it is, by making the most of each day for all of us. Anyone who is willing to give their time and energy for the purpose of others is a hero in my eyes, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. See, Tilton is not just filled with them, but we create them. Any institution that puts their time to better their students is heroic, and it begins with the faculty that we are so fortunate to know and learn from. While institutions have a mindset of competing with others through athletics, academics, or extracurriculars, Tilton simultaneously focuses on our own and bettering those that are here. It's difficult to exactly pinpoint this idea because it's something that isn't written down. It's not in our handbook or as a set of guidelines, but it's an ethos. It's a mindset that has been so fortunately ingrained within our community that we may overlook it at times. The mindset I want you to see is the constant support that we receive from our faculty is a norm. We don't have classes that teach you how to be a good kid, how to talk to adults, how to own your actions or ask for help. That's simply just a perk that comes with your education and the time that you spend here. But my God, is it one hell of a perk that is sufficient in itself to come to Tilton. And this is what ultimately makes us a heroic institution. The mission of our school is a lofty and ambitious one. It hopes to prepare students to have a positive effect on the world. A heroic mission to find the best in people so they can find the best in the world. Life may be full of trickery, as we all know, but the good is out there too, and it's our job to see it, to identify and acknowledge our heroes and those who strive for high ideals. One of the most bittersweet feelings has to be when you realize how much you're going to miss the moment while you're still living it. The feeling of walking to the rink for fall skates, sitting in the dining hall with those we'll never forget, and walking to class on spring mornings where everything is still but the birds and the warmth of the sun creeps over the clock tower. This new chapter, it's exciting, and reminiscing will come at times. I just hope wherever I am in a few months has the same welcoming people as I've come to know here. Because when it comes down to it, we all wake up to the same sun, but it's the people that help you remember its warmth. See, teenagers come to Tilton for all sorts of reasons. Some for athletics or academics, or some just to get their act together like myself. Regardless of our motives, Tilton is simply a place where we all seem to cross each other's paths at the same time. All for different reasons, but it's where our stories have aligned. Tilton School provides us with a common ground of communal self-exploration. So as we leave Tilton, what do we take with us? A belief that we can realize our potential to be better human beings, kinder, more empathetic, and compassionate. And it's never too late, or in my case too early, to begin this heroic journey. The teachers and faculty inspire students to try as they do, but inspiration isn't enough. We are now faced with the decision with whether or not we are willing to put that inspiration into practice. And it may not be easy, it shouldn't, but the good news is that there is no time limit. There are no rules to this thing. We simply have to make the best or worst of it. And I hope you make the best of it. As the Desiderata says, don't let the trickery of the world fool you to the virtue there is. I hope you see things that startle you, challenge you, and even frighten you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. I hope you meet people with different point of views. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if not, I hope you have the courage to start.
You did a great job. My water bottle was in the way of your picture. Thank you, Izzy. Ryan Waring is our next student speaker. From Gilmanton, New Hampshire, Ryan arrived at Tilton as a wiry freshman with much shorter hair. During his Tilton career, Ryan made an impact on our school in so many areas. His two most significant contributions were highlighted at prize night with awards both for his athletic prowess and his skill at the potter's wheel. In an era of specialization, Ryan has defied the trend and proven that developing all the aspects of the body and mind are essential. Next year, he takes his academics, his arts, and his athletics to Coastal Carolina University. By vote of the senior class, I'm proud to present a young man with much longer hair, Ryan Andrew Waring.
Good morning, family, friends, faculty, and staff. It is an honor to be speaking on behalf of the class of 2018. I would like to sincerely give a big thank you to my fellow classmates who voted me to give this speech today. When I learned about my nomination to speak, I was very nervous. If you know me by now, I typically do not like to speak in public. A few days following the vote, I received an email from Mr. Saliba asking for me to swing by his office for a quick meeting. I immediately knew this meeting would be about my graduation speech. My first thought was no, I do not want to accept the nomination because of my fear of public speaking. But then I took a moment and thought, if I always shy away from my fears, I will never learn to overcome them. And I would end up living a pretty boring life. So, why am I giving this speech today? I guess I must not want to live a boring life. We all experience many things throughout our time in high school. Some of these experiences are good and some are bad. One thing that is common with all of them is that there are lessons to be learned. I'm not talking about the lessons that Mr. Landrosh gives in English or Mr. Doherty's lessons in history, but I'm simply talking about life lessons. The experiences we have and the lessons we learn from them will help us face our fears, like my fear of public speaking. During my 4 years at Tilton, two significant events have happened to me. I'm going to talk about what they taught me and how they have influenced me in my life today. Many of you sitting in the audience can relate to similar events now. The first experience during my time at Tilton that I want to talk about happened during my freshman year. My grandfather had been battling esophagus cancer for a few years prior to me coming to Tilton. The doctors felt that the first round of treatment was successful and he had cured his disease. After 8 months of being cancer-free, he went in for a usual follow-up checkup. What they found was that the cancer had returned. My grandfather was faced with the decision to choose whether to try and fight it again or maybe have the same results as the first treatment or let the cancer take its course and try to live every day to its fullest. He chose not to fight it for the second time and just wanted to try to live the last few months of his life, enjoying all he could. All this took place during the summer before the start of my freshman year at Tilton. During this time, my grandfather and my grandmother decided to move to Florida in order for him to rest peacefully in an environment that he enjoyed. This made me very sad, as you can imagine, because I knew with him not doing well that it could be the last time I saw him. My grandfather was always at my games and school events as I was growing up, and I knew that this meant not seeing him in the hockey rink or on the soccer sidelines, or even just riding with him on the golf course. I knew that he would be better off in Florida with the weather, enjoying what he had left of retirement. I was happy to know that when he got down to Florida, he actually started to do better. It was a Monday during my freshman seminar class, I got a phone call from my dad. I stepped outside of the class to take a call, and my dad told me that my grandfather had passed away. That was one of the hardest things for me to handle, as it was my first close relative who had passed away. The second experience that I want to talk about happened this year during soccer season. I never thought I'd learn such a valuable lesson during my senior year. Going into the season, I was very excited because we were returning a great group of guys, and I was named a captain, along with Trevor Frederick, Grayson Goulet, and Owen McEwen. After the first 3 weeks of the season, I started to experience pain in my shins. By this point in my sports career, I had experienced shin splints in the past and knew that this pain was greater. Me, being stubborn, competitive person that I am, did not want to stop playing. So, I continued to play, and it got progressively worse as the season went on. It got to a point where it hurt just to walk. That's when Mr. Carter started to get concerned that I had a stress fracture in my shins. When he mentioned this to me, I knew right away I had to go get them checked to make sure that was not the case. After seeing my doctor, the diagnosis was tendonitis in my shin. What this meant was the tendons in my shin were inflamed and were starting to put strain on the bone, causing all the pain. After learning this information, I let Mr. Carter know what they determined and that the doctor thought I should stop playing. Mr. Carter and Mr. Ruggles then had a conversation. They decided to make the decision that the best thing for me was to sit out for about 2 to 3 weeks. At this point, we were towards the end of the season. When I was informed of this, it took a huge toll on me. I was frustrated because it was my senior year and I was being sidelined due to an injury. The whole time I wondered, why is this happening to me? I was very frustrated. I had never had an injury that affected my playing time so much as this one. Now, I know that both of these experiences are two opposite ends of the spectrum. One very devastating and one so easy to overcome with time. What makes them so similar, though, is a lesson I learned from both of them and the reason I tell you my stories today. So often, we take what we have for granted. We do not take the time to just appreciate the people or the abilities that we have when we have them. At some point in time, we all have been guilty of this. I always appreciated my grandfather cheering me on from the stands. However, I never really thought that someday he may not be there when I came out of the locker room. He may not have gotten up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning to just stand in a cold hockey rink. I took that time for granted. Every time I stepped out onto a field, stepped out on the first tee, or skated out onto the rink, I never took the moment to think about how lucky I was to have the physical ability to be able to play sports. To be able to run, swing a golf club, or even skate pain-free. There's so many people who are physically unable to play sports or do activities due to accidents or loss of limbs. I took it for granted that my body was always the way it was, and it was supposed to work the way it did. I read many graduation speeches in the past few weeks to try to help me overcome some ideas to talk about today. Many spoke about the future, and many talked about the past, as did I. But the lesson I want to teach all of you today is to think about the now. Be thankful for what you have in this instant. Look next to us at our loved ones. Look around at all of your friends. Look at this campus we're on right now. Look at all of our teachers and faculty classmates we have along this journey. The past has happened, the future will come, but this instant will never be again. Take the time to think about all those things we take for granted. The people who are always there and the body that always works. I encourage each and every one of you to take a moment every day in your life to just appreciate what you have and the abilities that you possess. Because one day, they all could be gone. I want to say thank you to my fellow classmates, again, as it has been an honor to speak today and be such a part of a great class. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. It is my honor to present this year's faculty commencement speaker, Mr. Stephen Gilpatrick. Mr. Gilpatrick received his bachelor's degree, summa cum laude, from the University of Southern Maine in 1977. Throughout his career, that's a long time ago. Throughout his career, the common denominator has been the English classroom. However, he has a broad experience in athletics, having coached football, lacrosse, wrestling, basketball, and golf. He has also served as athletic director at Kents Hill and been the president of the Maine Interscholastic Lacrosse League. Mr. Gilpatrick's longevity in education has been in his unique approach to teenagers. For those of us lucky enough to know him, his ability to connect with students, no matter where they are, has formed the basis of his impact on so many lives. Mr. Gilpatrick approaches everything from the lens of his experience as a pragmatic philosopher and a grounded human being. I had a taste of this a few weeks ago when I got an urgent phone call from the head of maintenance telling me that there was a tree right above his house and it was about to fall down and crash on it. I rushed right over to find a very large tree literally suspended by a few branches directly over his roof. And Mr. Gilpatrick was standing outside with his arms across his chest. And I asked, Steve, how are you doing? And he said, I'm great. I'm out. My wife's at work. All is good. If it falls, it falls. I'm not going to get too worked up about it. For me, that moment is the essence of Mr. Gilpatrick's approach to life. By vote of the class of 2018, it gives me great pleasure to present our faculty commencement speaker, Mr. Stephen Arthur Gilpatrick.
Okay. Yeah, well, So I had something I was going to begin with. Oh, I know what it was. Remember when it was 100 days? 100 days dinner? Remember that? Remember? 100 days dinner? Now it's down to just a few minutes. A few minutes. There's no hurry, okay? A few minutes. Give me a few minutes, okay? So, I want to talk to you about something, Mr. Saliba, I'm sorry, I completely rewrote this speech at 6 o'clock this morning, all right? I just woke up and I had a thought and I said, I'm going to go with it. Okay. I'm going to begin with a poem, I'm going to end with a poem. I'm going to try to go places no human has ever gone before. I don't really know who I'm speaking to. That's one of the issues of public speaking. Who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to the students? Then you say one thing. Am I speaking to the parents? It's a different speech. Am I speaking to Carl back there at the van? Carl? It's a different speech. Who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to different people at different times. And as Mr. Ruggles has said when he coaches soccer, you're going to have to figure it out. Okay? You figure it out. Thank you. At any rate, I'm going to start with a poet, William Wordsworth, who returns to a place in the country and remembers having been there before. So it's about memory. Now, now listen closely because I'm going to come back and refer to a few key phrases. Yes? So 5 years have passed, 5 summers, and the length of 5 long winters. Okay? And again, I repose here under this dark sycamore in front of these plots of ground, these orchard tufts, which at this season, with their unripe fruit, are clad in one green hue and lose themselves among groves and copses. And often, in lonely rooms, amid the noise of towns and cities, I have owed to them, in hours of weariness, sensations sweet, felt in the blood, felt along the heart, feelings of unremembered pleasure, such perhaps that have no small or trivial influence over a good man's life. Okay? His little acts of kindness, love, that become part of his soul. And while with an eye made quiet to the power of harmony and the deep power of joy, we see into the life of things. Nice poem, huh? That's nice. That's nice. Okay, yeah. So, I'm on the clock. I got to go fast. So, Wordsworth is concerned with the passage of time and memory and the effect that memory has upon us. And so here we are in a situation. Everybody, did you graduate from high school? Yeah. Remember back to your graduation. For me, 1969. Yeah. Vietnam. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Think back to that. What comes back to you? I know what comes back to me. I was supposed to get the athletic award. I was sitting in the front row. It went to someone else. Now, I don't really remember the faces. I remember the embarrassment, and I just remember the big room. But it just comes back in pieces. Memory comes back to us in pieces. Yes, okay? Yes. But Wordsworth wants to take us deeper than just these superficial memories. He wants to take us into the blood of memory. Okay? Now, some of you know I don't sleep well. Just the way it is. I have long hours in the middle of the night, in the darkness. We've talked about this many times, yes. Okay? And in that darkness, maybe some of you don't sleep well. I assume a lot of you don't sleep well. Right? Okay? And the thoughts that come to us in the night, okay? The feelings that come back to us Are we imagining these? Are we making them up? Where do they come from? They come to us like phantoms. They come and they leave, and yet they're coming out of something. And to Wordsworth, these are the unremembered feelings, the things that are in our blood that come back to us through our memory. And what is it that actually remembers? Now I have to go to a word. Wordsworth tells us it's the soul that remembers. Now, soul is a difficult word. I know this. Oh, you're talking about religion. Oh, no, we're not talking about religion. We're talking about something maybe even deeper than religion. Yes? So now, when we think about the soul, okay, and we think about religion, so we can think about, for example, are the Red Sox a religion? Yes? Yes. The Red Sox are a religion. There's nothing wrong with religion. And there's nothing wrong with the word soul. Octavia, where's my friend Octavia? Octavia? Octavia is going to Boston University. My suggestion with her was do you remember, Octavia, what was it? Buy a Red Sox hat. Okay? Yes. She will have, that will be the sense that she has found religion. Yes? She will be there. Okay, no. Now listen. What Wordsworth tells us, though, is that the things that come back to us, we have to listen for. We have to look for. They don't shout at us. In this world in which we live, where we're always shouting at each other, no, the soul doesn't shout at you. It can be easily ignored. You can say it doesn't exist. It's not shouting at me. It does exist. You're not listening for it. And Wordsworth is encouraging us to listen for that soul. As Blake tells us, there are angels in the architecture if we can see them. There is beauty all around us. It's in our blood if we can see it. I'm trying to move on. No, go, next question. Now, I was always touched by a story by Henry David Thoreau, who one day said he was having a conversation with a farmer, and he asked the farmer, "Are you a human being who is also a farmer? Or are you a farmer who's also a human being?" Interesting question. What are you? What comes first to you? Who happens to be a human being. Okay? It is those roles, I believe, okay, that hide the soul from us. And as Leonard Cohen says in one of his songs, it's that crack, yes, in our role that lets the light shine through. Yes, but it's in there. Okay. Now let's go a little bit further. I'm almost done. I got to get to my Chinese poem. I've been practicing this poem. I hope you enjoy it. Let me ask you another question. So who am I talking to now? Figure it out. All right. What's the soul of education? This is an educational experience we're having here. We all come here as educators. What is the soul of education? What do we feel in our blood? Okay. All I know is I was at the academic. No, was it the academic thing last Friday night? You may have prize night. Some of you may have been there. I was hiding behind Mr. Landrosh and behind the piano. Okay? But I was looking out into the audience as I am now, and I saw some faces, and they were like staring at me. And it was like, yes, I know you. Yes, I know you. Yes, I know you. And they were so happy just to see me again after years. But I think, what did they remember about me? How to write a sentence? Paragraph structure? Probably not. What did they remember about me? Nothing superficial. They remembered something that happened to us deeper than that they were being reminded of. And I was being reminded of. And it really struck me. It stayed with me. You actually have an effect on people. These people are leaving. There's another 150 right over there. Yeah. We're going there next. Yes. Yes. These are the people that we now have a responsibility to. This is where we're going. Okay? What is our role as a teacher? And what is your role as a student? What is the soul of a student? I am a student. I'm a Buddhist practitioner, so I have ongoing relationships with these Tibetan monks. And I know what they expect from me. All they ask from me as a student is sincere motivation. And that doesn't mean excitement. It means, do you know why you are doing this? Such that when trouble comes to you, yeah, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it because I have that motivation. That's what they expect from me. Quite frankly, that's what I expect from my own students. If you want to know the truth, okay? So, what do I expect from them? What should students expect of us? Empathy. And understanding on our part that they don't know. And a sensitivity to that. Compassion. And understanding that this might be difficult for them. And we need to be aware of that. Yes? And finally, commitment. My teachers are committed to me. They don't give up on me. Okay? And we should never give up on any of our students. I believe that is the soul of education. Right or wrong, I don't know. That's just Steve talking, okay? I'm almost done. Okay? Moving on. Okay. You know, let's just face where we live. Most of you guys get something sticking in your back pocket. I know it. That may well be your sense of the soul or your religion. That's just the world we live in. I think we have a danger, though, in this world of being too much above the shoulders, as I say. Too much intellect. Not enough heart. The metaphor is a bird with only one wing. It lies on the ground, it flutters around, it makes a lot of noise. It never takes flight. We also need to cultivate, along with the intellect, our hearts, our souls, right? Our motivation, our sense of self. Yes? Okay. That's really all I've got for you today. Now I'm going to move to my ending. Going a little long. Earlier in my presentation, whatever you want to call it, I spoke about night thoughts. Now I have a poem about waking up in the middle of the night. It's a Chinese poem written by a famous poet by the name of Levi. Yes, thank you. Yes, Levi, the most famous poet in Chinese history of the Tang Dynasty. He wrote a poem about waking up in the middle of the night, looking on the floor of his room, and it looked like there was frost on the floor, like there was snow. And he looked up through the window, and he saw the moon was shining through his window. And he looked back at the floor, and he thought of home. So here's the poem. It's called Jin Yi Shi Shan Xuan Ming Yu Guan Yi Shi Di Shang Shuang Jito Wang Ming Yu Dito Shi Gu Xiang. Yes? Yes? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. And what is it? I still think, maybe Wordsworth, it might be Levi, feeling something rather than thinking something. Maybe we need more of that. Maybe. I'm just saying, okay? Now I'd just like to say goodbye to the seniors. Thank you. I appreciate all the attention that you've spent on me. If I don't know you, it has been my loss. And I would just say, please, all is forgiven on my side. And I hope on your side, whatever transgressions, and there have been many, I apologize. Okay, yes. Okay, and then finally I'll just end with a little Buddhist blessing. Okay, simple enough? Yes, good. So may all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. And may all beings know only happiness and the causes of happiness. And may all beings, all sentient beings, okay, know only the full glory of human existence. Thank you. Thank you.
So anyone who would like to sign up for 11th grade English for next year, please let me know. From Katukook, New Hampshire, our final student speaker is Maddie Clark. During her 3 years at Tilton, Maddie has quietly led by example through her work ethic and her talents in multiple areas. Of all the ways to describe Maddie, I picked the word motivated. When she sets her sights on a goal, she achieves it with a quiet, careful confidence that inspires all of those around her. In addition to her athletic talents, which include multiple Lakes Region and New England championships in cross country and girls basketball, she was awarded the Chester J. LaRoche Award and the Student Assembly Prize. Maddie came to Tilton as a talented athlete, but she's leaving for Wesleyan University next year with the ability to inspire others. In her role as class president, she will now present the senior class gift. Please join me in welcoming Madison Elizabeth Clark.
For each and every one of us, Tilton is permanent. It will always be a place that we keep in our thoughts because of the relationships that we create with the people here. While we will all come and go from the hill, the friendships are everlasting. The moments we spent gathered together on the quad surrounding the pit, warmed by the fire, and the feeling that we as a community are so close will be cherished forever. Shouting out the lyrics to songs we all know by heart, making eye contact with someone across the way and instantly smiling, toasting a marshmallow to perfection, talking to somebody for the first time. It's the memories like these that are permanently within us. It is my honor to announce that the class of 2018 has built a permanent fire pit between Maloney and the chapel, with the help of Mike Cox, who volunteered his time and effort to help many members of our class, with the installation and significant donations from a few trustee members. It is our hope that the memories that we will keep forever will be made possible for all the Rams that follow behind us as you sit around the pit. We have also purchased a bench to provide more seating, and the remainder of our class funds will be given to the Tilton Annual Fund for the purpose of bettering athletics, outdoors, and visual and performing arts. Tilton has given me so much, and for that I am grateful to my family for making it all possible, and I know that is true for each and every one of us. Tilton gave something to all of us, an opportunity to grow and improve in all aspects of life. It's our turn to give back. Keep the memories locked inside for no one to take away, but think about the permanent impact this place and these people have made on you, and make that possible for someone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. I now would like to invite Mr. Landrosh, Mr. McElhaney to assist me in the awarding of diplomas. So, Mr.
So let me start just quickly by acknowledging this group of just outstanding adults who are seated dressed in black in front of me. You have built a world on this hill this year that's nurtured the hearts of these graduates with Gilpatrick's empathy and passion and commitment. You've challenged their minds and you've readied their hands for the daunting work of mending and creating. Thank you for your work. To my colleagues who will remain on this hill next year, sit, please enjoy these next few moments. You've earned the rest. Together we'll start up again tomorrow. To those of you like these graduates who will be leaving, thank you. You've done well, and you will be missed. And now I'll begin with the awarding of the diplomas. We start with the letter A. And we have one, Samuel Chance Alisea. I get to photobomb every picture. Hannah Sue Berry. Samuel Peter Blaisdell. Congratulations, Sam. Dominique Michelle Bolduc. Kitty Pat Bunyawat. Sophie Kathleen Burgess Dunn. Chanel Martina Kama. Kirsten Taylor Chandonnet. John Tak J.T. Cho. Madison Elizabeth Clark. Cal James Connolly. Liam Sean Connolly. Callie Chrissy Cook. Gordon Edward Cummings. William Durkin Dahlquist. Darian Narad Davis. Charles Lemuel Deacon. Du Seigneur Alice Du. Shane Patrick Eggleston. Ryan Alexander Flynn. Joshua Shinar Montana Fogg. Tristan Thomas Fowler. Nicole T. Fredo. One of Tilton's great traditions is to celebrate family by inviting its employees and trustees to award the Tilton School Diploma to the graduating members of their immediate families. And so I'll ask Trustee Joe Elliott to step forward. Trevor Elliott Frederick. Gabriel Gagnon. Benjamin George Gantrish. Nathan Thomas Gendron. Joseph T. Glynn. Grayson Joseph Goulet. Gu Chuhao Charles Gu. Guaming Ming Guan. Nicholas Charles Garente. Olivia Helena Hale. Braden Anders Haley. Jeremy Scott Halal. Sihun Sam Han. Trevor Whitman Hardy. Christian Hinkson. Kaylee Ann Hughes. Kelsey June Johnson. Allison Jolly. Sean Thomas Keegans. Gabriel Corbena Kingsley Nina. Denise Naz Kochak. Sawyer Frank Coster. Nicole Lattis. Morgan Elizabeth LeBaron. Max Lee Issei Leroux. Lee Xingwei William Lee. I'll ask faculty member Kyle Lasardo to come forward. Jacob Robert Lasardo. Peter Thomas Lowenstein. Gerard A. Moretta. Owen Thomas McEwen. Bryn Alexander Mendez. Isabelle McKinnon Mafoy. Tyler William Parker Pulaski. Cameron Robert Parker. John Patrick Piggott. Eric Robert Pilcher. Matthew Aaron Prescott. Pawat Promraksa. Tia Kathleen Respante. Christopher David Robinson. Ethan Harrison Ross. Scott. Catherine Ann Ruggles. Nicholas John Salmon. Kenneth David Sarney. Cole S. Scott. Abigail Carr Settlemeyer. Katrina Nicole Shelbourne. Carolina Anna Louise Tellman. Mizuho Sukatani. Madison Ann Vanderpool. C. Isabella Bolinski in absentia. Ryan Andrew Waring. Cameron Weitzman. Lovisa Mary Christina Werner. Cole Albrecht Winkleman. Just be careful. Deshaun Christopher Woods. Zhu Xuen Jennifer Zhu. Aibala Tulba Yilmaz. Miki Yoshida. Jack Francis Zangri. Marcus Andrew Zagorowski. Maxwell John Zagorowski. Jiao Jiawei Octavia Jiao. Joe Chushon Eric Joe. Ju Reishao Alvin Ju. Zhuang Selun Zel Zhuang. And before Zell sits down, I'll ask all the graduates to rise. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the Tilton School graduating class of 2018.
Jeremy, Deb, that's all right. We'll get it after.
That's a surprise.
I now would like to ask Ms. O'Rourke to come forward to give us our benediction. Ms. O'Rourke.
Graduates, at convocation in September, I offered you a simple piece of advice. I told you when you are stuck, unsure of what to do or how to help, you can always, literally or figuratively, pick up a broom and sweep. Really, that is simply to say that there is always work in need of doing, and you can always find a way to be helpful. Wherever your path is taking you, I hope you bring your broom. As you go from this place to the next and beyond, may you build your dreams with hard work, commitment, and perseverance. May you have the courage to help others and the wisdom to ask for help when you need it. May you approach the world with love and be open to the love that surrounds you. May you be thankful every day for your education and your privilege, and may you use both to better your communities and our world. May all those in Ram Nation go forth with joy and gratitude. Thank you.
As we process, the faculty will be followed by the seniors. The faculty will form a receiving line across the quadrangle there, ending at the tent. We appreciate everyone's respect and opportunity for the graduates to say goodbye to their faculty members. Hillary, you're on.
看帽子扔上去了，我估计。看吗？树上去了。Somebody's cat. You pick up that coffee cup instead of walking around. I just hands over your head. Oh,哎呀，美国当时就特别会做这种。Yeah, go get us. No, I just need my chair. Somebody's there. When I'm sitting a long time, it's definitely. John? John?
What are you saying?
Should we go get a table of? No, maybe we want to take pictures.
Yeah.
When I'm in public a long time.
You okay? You okay?
I know when Mom called me, she's like, "Are you having a party?" I'm like, "What?" I just gave her party.